One rapper shot up a strip club and another snitched on everyone and they mama in his RICO indictment. These are rappers' most viewed moments. Starting off strong with West Coast legend Tupac Shakur. In '93, this rap icon found himself in the middle of a sexual assault scandal. It all went down in November after Pac and his crew hit up a concert at the Big Apple. They rolled up into a Manhattan hotel probably thinking it was just another night. That's when things took a wild turn. A fan named Ayanna Jackson stepped to Pac. And what happened next? Well, depends on who you ask. Jackson claimed Pac invited her up to his room and things got really ugly. She said he and his boys forced her into some serious criminal activities at gunpoint. But Pac wasn't having it. He said everything that went down was all good, all consensual. No guns, no force. Just two adults doing their thing.
How am I gonna forcibly do anything to a girl after she did it to me consensually? And that's not something I'm making up. That's what they said. They said that. The girl came to court and said she did this, she did that, she called my hotel, it was good. She said that, not me. Now why am I gonna force her? I mean, this is common sense.
Now the law wasn't buying Pac's story. They hit him with a stack of charges. We're talking abuse, sodomy, the works. This wasn't just some minor beef. It was the kind of case that could end his career.
I look guilty.
Police say the 22-year-old rapper allegedly held down the 20-year-old victim, who was also a friend, while she was sodomized in a bedroom at the hotel.
When the trial kicked off in '94, every reporter, every paper, everyone was tuned in, but Pac didn't appreciate the unnecessary attention.
He was so enamored by the rap star's persona, she sent him phone messages thanking him for oral sex.
Pac came out swinging. He laid it all out, saying he was being targeted.
It's not even about my trial no more. It's just about loud rap music, tattoo having thugs. It's not even about me no more. It's about, some nightmare that these people having.
She's talking about thug life and all that, trying to...
He's definitely guilty. Anybody with thug life tattooed on their stomach is guilty. What type of reasoning is that? You know what I'm saying?
Pac was later found guilty on 2 counts of sexual abuse. The judge wasn't playing, handing down a sentence of 1.5 to 4.5 years at the pen. Now, Pac only served 8 months before he got out on appeal. To this day, people still debate what really went down that night. Was Pac a victim of his own fame, or did he cross a line he couldn't come back from? Now, speaking of rappers facing the heat in court, we're going to fast forward to a more recent case that had the internet buzzing. Back in October 2018, YNW Melly got caught up in some heavy charges, accused of putting 2 of his own crew on ice, YNW Juvie and YNW Sack Chaser. The streets be saying a double homicide going down in Miramar, Florida. The DA ain't joking around. They say Melly and his boy YNW Bortland pulled the trigger on their own squad. Shots popping off inside the whip. They got receipts too. Surveillance footage showing Melly, Bortland, and 2 victims all up in the mix before things went down. Now the trial's on pause, waiting on some video evidence to surface. But that ain't the only drama in this courtroom thriller. Melly's bars became a whole other issue. His track, Murder on My Mind, dropped way before the alleged hits. But folks started connecting dots. Fans and the DA have both pointed to them violent lyrics like there's some kind of confession. But the lyrics aren't the only thing that has people side-eyeing YNW Melly. The rapper seemed pretty chill during the trial, even blowing out kisses.
Really? Really?
And it wasn't just the rapper taking things easy. His friends taking the stand were just as laid back.
Did you smoke before you came here today? I did not. Oh. I have nothing. Thank you. I should have.
On July 22, 2023, Melly actually beat the trial when the judge called a mistrial because the jury was deadlocked. The new trial is set for October 9, 2024. Melly's been behind bars since 2019, facing life or even the death penalty if they find him guilty. And just like Melly, this next rapper was also booked for his friend's murder. Harlem-born rhyme spitter ASAP Rocky found himself caught up in some serious heat. Streets talking about how Pretty Flacco allegedly popped off at a former homie, ASAP Relly. Now, Relly accused Rocky of opening fire on him in Hollywood on November 6, 2022, while claiming that one of the bullets nicked his hand. The DA's office came through with receipts serving up some wild footage from that night of the incident. They hit him up with surveillance showing a hooded figure clutching what looked like a piece. Rocky's lawyer, though, wasn't about to let his client take an L without a fight.
We're going to be quiet and we're going to try the case in the courtroom. And when we do, facts will come out that show that he's truly innocent and he's a victim in this case.
The whole situation had the culture shook. ASAP Rocky ain't just any rapper. He's a trendsetter, a fashion killer, and a half a hip-hop royalty with his queen, Rihanna. But even with all eyes on him, Rocky kept it 100, pleading not guilty. But if the rapper gets the guilty verdict, he's looking at 24 years in prison. Now, speaking of high-profile rap cases that had the world watching, this next rapper got hit with a RICO case. Atlanta trap icon Young Thug got caught up in a legal maze that had the whole game watching. This wasn't just any court case, we're talking RICO charges. The streets was abuzz, with Thugger facing accusations of being the big boss of a criminal enterprise. Thug's facial expressions became the talk of the internet, with people turning his courtroom moments into memes. The prosecution was coming at Thug with everything they had, trying to paint him as the kingpin of YSL, which they claimed wasn't just a record label but a straight-up gang. They threw terms around like criminal street gang and talking about alleged crimes spanning years. The internet was eating it up. Clips from the trial went viral, like this one of Thug's homies getting caught passing him some pills. This whole situation had the culture in a chokehold for 18 long months. The prosecution was trying to connect the dots between song lyrics, social media posts, and alleged criminal activities, turning Thug's art into evidence. Thugger's lawyers decided to play the game and tried telling the court what the lyrics actually meant.
Of hopelessness, he would be truly humble under God. That's what Thug means.
But it gets crazy when Gunna, Thug's right-hand man, snitches to the feds. At first, Gunna denies it, but the internet wasn't having it, and someone leaked his confession.
YSL is a music label and a gang, and you have personal knowledge that members or associates of YSL have committed crimes in furtherance of the gang.
Yes, ma'am.
Just when everyone thought they knew where the story was headed, word spreads that the presiding judge, Granville, had a secret meeting with the prosecutors and a key witness, leaving Thug's defense team in the dark. And Thug's lawyer, Brian Steele, didn't let that slide when it came out.
That is not attorney-client privilege.
Attorney work product privilege. I am not.
How did you get that information supposedly from my chambers? Did somebody tell you?
I'm not. You should have told me. You got 5 minutes.
Steele got arrested for contempt of court, but he proved himself a real G in everyone's eyes. Later, Judge Glanville, who'd been running the show for over 2 years, got yanked off the case and a new judge was appointed. As of August 2024, this trial's been wilder than one of Thug's videos. His defense squad is heated, talking about more secret meetings between the judge and the state. They're throwing around words like bias and misconduct, trying to get the whole case tossed out. The trial's on pause indefinitely, with Thug's team pushing to get the whole indictment dismissed. So, speaking of courtroom dramas that had the whole world watching, we're gonna switch lanes and dive into another case that blew up the internet, but for very different reasons. Toronto-born spitter Tory Lanes found himself in a mess deeper than Lake Ontario. It all popped off back in the summer of 2020 at a star-studded party at Kylie Jenner's crib. But this time things take a wild turn, with Tory Lanes and Megan Thee Stallion getting into it. Next thing you know, shots ring out and Megan's catching a bullet in her foot.
Rapper Tory Lanes has been charged with shooting artist Megan Thee Stallion during an argument. The DA's office says Lanes, whose legal name is Daystar Peterson, shot Megan's feet during an argument in the Hollywood Hills July 12th. The 28-year-old was arrested the night of the shooting, but was released after posting bail.
There were too many words on the street for this, and Megan finally went on IG Live to tell everyone how it really went down.
Like, I'm so over this shit. And y'all gotta know, I am the nicest, the most calm.
Megan goes into why she hadn't spoken up when it all went down.
Why the f would I tell the laws somebody got a gun in this car and this shot me? So I can get shot, you can get shot, she can get shot, he can get shot. I ain't tell the police what happened immediately right then because I didn't want to die.
Fast forward to the courtroom. The prosecution comes through with a heavy case, laying out charges that had Lanes looking at some serious time. We're talking assault with a semi-automatic firearm, carrying a loaded, unregistered firearm in a vehicle, and that reckless discharge. Lane's legal team was working overtime, trying to flip the script. They came at the judge, pushing for a new trial, claiming some evidence wasn't handled right, but the judge wasn't having it, shutting that down. The verdict finally drops, and Lanes was guilty on all counts. Ooh, the judge wasn't playing, handing down a decade-long sentence. Currently, Lanes is serving 10 years at the North Kern State Prison in Delano, California. And jumping from one legal battle to another, this next rapper found himself on the wrong side of the law. Kodak Black had the whole game watching as he faced a stack of charges. It's 2018 and Kodak's looking at 7 felonies that could have him trading his mic for a prison ID. We're talking neglect, grand theft of a firearm, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, and even some weed charges.
Charge as follows: grand theft, count 2, 3, possession of a firearm by convicted felon or ammo. 4, possession of cannabis. 5, neglect.
The prosecution comes in hot, but Kodak's legal team ain't playing and they managed to get 3 charges dropped fast. But the young spitter wasn't out of the woods yet. He still had to face the music on the gun and weed charges. Kodak pled not guilty, trying to beat the case. The judge wasn't feeling Kodak's innocence plea though. But wait, there's more. Just when you thought Kodak was gonna lay low and count his blessings, he catches another case, this time in South Carolina, and it was serious. We're talking about first-degree criminal sexual conduct. But the drama keeps on going because while he's locked up, the cops find more warrants on him. In the end, Kodak pled guilty to assault and battery in the South Carolina case. He apologized and agreed to counseling, ended up with 18 months on probation and a 10-year suspended sentence hanging over his head. So, speaking of getting caught in the heat, this next rapper just took on his charges and went to jail. West Coast spitter Blueface, known for his offbeat flow, finds himself caught up in a legal maze that had the whole game watching. It all goes down at a strip club in Vegas. Blueface allegedly gets into some heavy drama. We're talking shots fired, a vehicle hit, and Blueface facing an attempted murder charge.
Made a joke about the rapper talking with some females in a cheap vehicle. After the joke didn't go down well, members of Blueface's crew allegedly hit the man multiple times. When he tried to leave in his truck, Blueface allegedly fired shots at the man's vehicle as he fled the scene.
Fast forward to court. Here's where it gets interesting. Instead of fighting the case, Blueface decided to keep it a buck and cop to the charges. Now you might be thinking, why would he admit to that? Well, Blueface and the legal team played it smart. They managed to get an attempted murder charge knocked down to a felony count of firing a gun into a vehicle, plus a misdemeanor battery charge. The judge gives Blue a suspended sentence of 24 to 60 months for the crime.
But I will tell you, if you get caught doing that, you get brought back here on any kind of probation violation, especially anything involving weapon, I will not hesitate to put you in prison for a significant period of time. You are playing with your liberty, your life, obviously, but you're playing with your liberty if you're going to have guns and do anything that's going to violate your probation in that regard. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
I don't want there to be any confusion. I hear people who say things about You know, I didn't realize I couldn't, you know, do this or that or have pictures with them or whatever. No.
But Blueface being Blueface, he couldn't seem to stay out of the headlines. Fast forward to January 2024, just a few months after the Vegas drama, and Blue's turning himself in again. This time, he's accused of violating his probation from an old felony assault case from 2021. Now, while most rappers would be sweating bullets going back to court, Blueface rolls up cracking jokes.
He's taking care of
what if he's handling some mandatory issues, man. I see you on the other side. All right.
He took it a step further, calling himself a real G and keeping his cool and his drip.
Only a real player will go to jail looking like he's finna go to the Himalayas.
Hey, good luck, man.
Moving from one controversial rapper to another, we're about to see how this next rapper broke the most important street code: no snitching. Rainbow-haired Brooklyn rapper Tekashi 6ix9ine finds himself in this legal mess. We're talking federal charges, having 69 looking at more years inside than he had tracks on the charts. The feds had him dead to rights, facing a sentence of 44 to life. But 69 pulls an Uno reverse and snitches on everyone. Homie strikes a deal snitching on his former gang, the 9 Trey Bloods. During this interrogation, 6ix9ine spilled more tea than the Boston Harbor Party and lays out the whole 9 Trey operation, talking about shootings, robberies, and drug deals.
What sorts of things did 9 Trey members do?
We participated in a lot of, violent crimes, robberies, assaults, drugs.
But 6ix9ine wasn't just snitching on his homies, nah. He was throwing the whole industry under the bus. He would throw big names under that bus, talking about Cardi B, Jim Jones, Trippie Redd, and Snoop Dogg. Snoop, never one to hold his tongue, would jump on the gram calling 6ix9ine a straight-up rat. Snoop goes down harder, comparing him to Martha Stewart, who didn't snitch and went to prison. But a key difference is that Martha was looking at 5 months, and 69 was 40 years. Cardi B also had to come out to clear her name. She hit Twitter to shut down the rumors, and then goes on IG Live, making it clear that she wasn't about that 9 Trey life.
So if you know the type of situation that the streets gonna put you in, and if you get locked up and you snitching, then you shouldn't be in the streets. And that's why we don't feel bad for snitches, because you had that choice from the beginning.
But here's where it gets twisted. 6ix9ine in this TMZ interview tries to explain his snitch move. He was singing a whole different tune, talking about feeling betrayed by his crew. According to him, the 9 Trey Bloods had done him dirty, kidnapping, stealing his cash, and even threatening his life.
My people, like how many people I beefed with in 2018? I beefed with the whole West Coast, I beefed with the Houston, I beefed with Chicago, did I ever get kidnapped by Chicago?
Even accused one of his inner circle of creeping with his girl. In 6ix9ine's mind, they broke the street code first, so all bets were off.
What I did, it wasn't snitching. What I did was being smart and realized that God put me there to cut my grass so I could see the snakes in my grass.
The streets hate snitches, but there's been talk. Had 6ix9ine actually snitched, or was he just playing the game?